Hello, and thank you for joining us for the 2021 Plymouth South High School Poetry Out Loud Finals. Once again this year, the Plymouth South English Department conducted classroom competitions for our students, and we were amazed at the talent we have right here in our school. Classroom winners were sent on to a second round of judging by our English teachers, and the performers you see here tonight are the best of the best, our school finalists. For the school-wide finals, each student has prepared 2 poems to perform for our judges, who are assessing their voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, physical presence, evidence of understanding the poem, and overall performance. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hi, my name is Kira Bonapane. I will be reciting Dawn Chorus by Sasha Dugdale. Every morning, since the time changed, I have woken to the dawn chorus. And even before it sounded, I dreamed of it, loud, unbelievably loud, shameless, raucous. And once I rose and twitched the curtains apart, expecting the birds to be pressing in fright against the pane like passengers. But the garden was empty, and it was night. Not a slither of light at the horizon. Still the birds were bawling through the mists, terrible, invisible, a million small evangelists. How they sing as if each had pecked up a smoldering coal, their throats singed and swollen with song, in dissonance as befits the dark worlds where only travelers and sleepless belong.
I'm Casey McPherson, and I'm reciting Harold in the Purple Crayon by D. Gilson. Berkeley psychologist told Harold his anger was justified. What parents let their child go for a midnight walk under no moon? I couldn't have been more than 4, Harold told the doctor in her crisp beige office. Doctor, could it ever be okay for a 4-year-old to eat 9 different types of pie? Harold asked her. Call me Lisa, the doctor replied. Everyone knew Harold could draw. By sophomore year, he was critiquing grad students. By 20, Harold knew exactly when to quote Sontag. Standing in front of a professor's latest pastel of Mojave succulents, this just makes me think of how in place of a hermeneutics, we need an erotics of arts. Harold's professors would hum and nod their dragon heads, though none of them understood exactly what Harold said. By senior year, Harold became distant, his work increasingly angry, apple trees, their fruit rotting in monochrome purple, under the notable lack of a moon.
I'm Sophia Kemet, and I'm going to be reciting Don't Let Me Be Lonely at the Airport Scary Checkpoint by Claudia Ranke. At the airport scary checkpoint, on the way to visit my grandmother, I am asked to drink from my water bottle. This water bottle? That's it. Open it and drink from it. At the airport scary checkpoint, on the way to visit my grandmother, I am asked to take off my shoes. Take off my shoes? Yes, both please. At the airport scary checkpoint, on the way to visit my grandmother, I am asked if I have a fever. A fever, really? Yes, really. My grandmother's in a nursing home. It's not bad. It doesn't smell like pee. It doesn't smell like anything. When I go to see her, as I walk through the hall past the common room and nurse's station, old person after old person puts his or her hand out to me. Stephen, one says, and another calls. It's like I'm in a third world country. But instead of food or money, you are what is wanted. Your company. In third world countries, I have felt overwhelmingly American. Calcium-rich, privileged, and white. Here, I feel young, lucky, and sad. But sad is one of those words that has given up its life for our country. It's been a martyr for the American dream, neutralized, co-opted by our culture to suggest a tinge of discomfort that lasts the time it takes for this and then for that to happen. The time it takes to change a channel. No, but sadness is real because once it meant something real. It meant dignified, grave. It meant trustworthy. It meant exceptionally bad, deplorable, shameful. It meant massive, weighing, forming a compact body. It meant falling heavily, and it meant of a color. Dark. It meant dark in color, to darken. It meant me. I felt sad.
My name is Colby Keating, and I'll be reciting Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
My name is Nathan Brown, and I'll be reciting End of Days Advice from an Ex-Zombie by Michael Derek Hudson. To think, I used to be so good at going to pieces, gobbling my way through the cops and spooking what's left of the girls. How'd I get so far? Sloughing off one knuckle at a time, jerking my mossy pelt along ruined streets. Those insistent, dreadful thuds as we stacked our futile selves against locked doors, our mumbles and groans. Such hungry nights, staggering through the grit of looted malls, plastered with the tattered flags of useless currency. I'd slobbered all over the busted glass and merchandise of America. But first, you'll have to figure out those qualities separating what's being alive from who's already dead. Most of you will flunk that. Next, learn to want one thing over and over, night after night. Most of you are good at that. Don't get tired, don't cough into your leftovers, don't think, always stand by your hobgoblin buddies, clutch at whatever's there. Learn to sniff out sundowns.
My name is Alana Rabbit, and I will be reciting In by Andrew Hudgens. When we first heard from blocks away the fog truck's blustery roar, we dropped our toys, leapt from our meals, and scrambled out the door into an evening briefly fuzzy. We yearned to be transformed, translated past confining flesh to disembodied spirit. We swarmed through thick smoke, taking human form before we blurred again, turned vague and then visible in temporary heaven. Freed of bodies by the fog, we sang, we laughed, we shouted, we were our voices, nothing else. Voices was all we wanted. The white clouds tumbled down our street, pursued by spellbound children who chased the most distorting clouds, who were ecstatic in the poison.
Hi, I'm Brendan Jones, and today I'll be reciting the poem Catch a Little Rhyme by Eve Merriam. Once upon a time, I caught a little rhyme. I set it on the floor, but it ran right out the door. I chased it on my bicycle, but it melted to an icicle. I scooped it up in my hat, but it turned into a cat. I caught it by the tail, and it stretched into a whale. I folded it on a boat, but it turned into a goat. When I fed it tin and paper, it grew into a tall skyscraper. Then it grew into a kite and flew far out of sight.
My name is Ella Ramboldi, and I will be reciting Filling Station by Elizabeth Bishop. Oh, but it is dirty, this little filling station. Oil-soaked, oil-permeated to a disturbing overall black translucency. Be careful with that match. Father wears a dirty, oil-soaked monkey suit that cuts him under the arms, and several quick and saucy and greasy sons assist him. It's a family filling station, all quite thoroughly dirty. Do they live in the station? It has a cement porch behind the pumps, and on it, a set of crushed and grease-impregnated wickerwork. On the wicker sofa, a dirty dog, quite comfy. Some comic books provide the only note of color, of certain color. They lie upon a big dim doily draping a tabaret, part of the set, beside a big hirsute begonia. Why the extraneous plant? Why the tabaret?
Why, oh why the doily? Embroidered in daisy stitch with marguerites, I think, and heavy with gray crochet. Somebody embroidered the doily. Somebody waters the plants, or oils it may be. Somebody arranges the row of cans so that they softly say, S-O, so, to high-strung automobiles. Somebody loves us all.
That completes the first round of performances. We're on to round 2.
I will be reciting Not Waving but Drowning by Stevie Smith. Nobody heard him, the dead man, but still he lay moaning. I was much further out than you thought, and not waving, but drowning. Poor chap, he always loved larking, and now he's dead. It must have been too cold for him. His heart gave way, they said. Oh, no. It was too cold always. Still the dead one lay moaning. I was much too far out all my life, and not waving, but drowning.
My name is Casey McPherson, and I'm reciting A Thank You Note by Michael Ryan. For John Scoils. My daughter made drawings with the pens you sent, line drawings that suggest the things they represent, different from many drawings she, at 10, had done, closer to real art, implying what the mind fills in. For her mother, she made a flower, fragile on its stem. For me, a lion, calm, contained, but not a handsome one. She drew a line for me once before, on a get well card, and wrote, I must be brave, even when it's hard. Such love is healing, as you know, my friend, especially when it comes unbidden from our children, despite the flaws they see so vividly in us. Who can love you as your child does? Your son, so ill, the brutal chemo, his looming loss owning you now, yet you would be this generous to think of my child. With the pens you sent, she has made, I hope, a healing instrument.
The Time I've Lost in Wooing by Thomas More. The time I've lost in wooing, in watching, in pursuing, the light that lies in women's eyes is my heart's undoing. Though wisdom oft had sought me, I scorned the lore she brought me. My only books were women's looks, and follies all they've taught me. Her smile, when beauty granted, I hung with gaze enchanted, like him the sprite who maids by night off meet in glen that's haunted. Like him too beauty won me. But while her eyes were on me, if once their ray was turned away, oh, winds could not outrun me. And are those follies going? And is my proud heart growing? Too cold or wise for brilliant eyes again to set it going. No vain, alas, thy endeavor, from bonds so sweet to sever. Poor wisdom's chance against a glance is now as weak as ever.
My name is Colby Keating. Today I'll be reciting Sonnet 15, When I Consider Everything That Grows, by William Shakespeare. When I consider everything that grows, holds in perfection but a little moment, that this huge stage presenteth not but shows whereon the stars and secret influence comment, when I perceive that men as plants increase, cheered and checked even by the self-same sky, vaunt in their youthful sap at height decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory. Then the conceit of this inconstant stay sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay to change your day of youth to sullied night. And all in war with time for love of you, as he takes from you, I engraft you new.
My name is Nathan Brown, and I'll be reciting Brother, I've Seen Some by Kabir. Brother, I've seen some astonishing sights. A lion watching over pasturing cows. A mother delivered after her son was. A guru prostrated before his disciple. Fish spawning on treetops. A cat carrying away a dog. A gunny sack driving a bullock cart. A buffalo going out to graze sitting on a horse. A tree with its branches in the earth and its roots in the sky. A tree with flowering roots. This verse, says Kabir, is your key to the universe, if you can figure it out.
This is Dreamers by Siegfried Sassoon. Soldiers are citizens of death's gray area, drawing no dividend from time's tomorrows. In the great hour of destiny, they stand, each with his feuds, jealousies, and sorrows. Soldiers are sworn to action. They must win some flaming fatal climax with their lives. Soldiers are dreamers. When the guns begin, they think of firelit homes, clean beds, and wives. I see them in foul dugouts gnawed by rats, and in the ruined trenches lashed with rain, dreaming of things they did with balls and bats, and mocked by the hopeless longing to regain bank holidays and picture shows and spats and going to the office in the rain.
1969 by Alex Dimitrov. The summer everyone left for the moon, even those yet to be born, and the dead, who can't vacation here with us, yet met us all there by the veil between worlds. The number one song in America was, in the year 2525, for who has ever lived in the present when there's so much of the future to continue without us? How the best lover won't need to forgive you, and surely take everything off your hands, without even having to ask, without knowing your name, without knowing how many times you married, or didn't, your favorite midnight movie, the cigarettes you couldn't give up, wanting to kiss other people you shouldn't, and to be forever kissed by the earth, in the earth, with earth. And whatever language is good for, a sign, a message, left up there that reads, here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. Then returned to continue the war.
My name is Ella Rimboldi, and I will be reciting A Song in the Front Yard by Gwendolyn Brooks. I've stayed in the front yard all my life. I want to peek at the back, where it's rough and untended and hungry weed grows. A girl gets sick of a rose. I want to go in the backyard now, and maybe down the alley, to where the charity children play. I want a good time today. They do some wonderful things. They have some wonderful fun. My mother sneers, but I say it's fine. How they don't have to go in at 8:45. My mother, she tells me that Joni May will grow up to be a bad woman, that George will be taken to jail sooner or late, on the account of last winter he sold our back gate. But I say it's fine, honest, I do, and I'd like to be a bad woman too, and wear the brave stockings of night black lace, and strut down the street with paint on my face.
That completes tonight's competition. We are excited to announce our top 3 performers. The second runner-up is Kira Bonapane. The first runner-up is Nathan Brown. And the winner of the 2021 Plymouth South Poetry Out Loud Finals is Casey McPherson. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Plymouth South Poetry Out Loud School-Wide Finals. We'd also like to thank all of our judges for taking time out of their lives to help with this contest. Thanks to Lisa White, Christopher Lippa, Corey Joyce, Anthony Privetti, and Sarah Grant. Congratulations to all students involved, and best of luck to our winner as they move on to the Poetry Out Loud Regional Competition. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.